People will be like, ah.
I'm pretty sure the last time...
I remember why I don't like that guy.
Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co.
I'm Austin Harrison from Ivy Studio.
And I'm a duck.
Yeah, you like to be a duck. So, this video is going to be completely freeform in terms of just a conversation around really... And it's an interesting conversation because I think it's interesting to some people and completely uninteresting to others.
Austin, just last night, or this morning, said something along the lines of, it's great that I'm here. I'm sure learning from designers and publishers is the best way possible. And I said, Alex...
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, learning from designers and publishers. This conversation, this video title, I don't know what the exact title is, something along the lines of why are designers...
publishers are horrible at teaching their own games.
Why they're so bad at teaching their own games. And it's mainly designers, I think, but publishers too.
Most of my experiences learning from other publishers are great.
Lucky you then.
I just been picking the right ones.
Lucky
Can I do
you
a
then.
shout out?
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah,
You can talk
so-
all the ones who are good, we just can't say the names of the ones who are bad.
Yeah. So I learned Last Light from Roy,
Roy's delightful.
He's not... He's a content creator.
but he's also a...
No.
He's not a publisher. He's just
different.
a designer.
He's a designer.
He's one of us.
Okay.
We
Roy,
claim
you're
him.
great.
We claim him.
Okay.
Try
So I
again.
can't use him.
Try again.
You're the exception, not him. You are an exception. by the
Cool.
way. Yeah.
Great.
And there's not like one exception, but when you've taught me games in the past,
Okay.
Mythic Mischief, the first time you taught it, was a drop confusing when we got to the dice thingy.
Yep.
But I think that's a confusing thing to go through.
Yeah.
Like, I think having it physically in front of you makes a lot
like,
more sense.
I want to roll that, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, don't roll it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But past that one exception, everything you've taught me, I think, has been very clear.
So just for added context, for the one person that's still super confused, Austin, Ivy Studios, Moonrakers, Mythic Mischief,
right.
Veiled Fate.
Yeah. Those are the games that my company makes.
Not also a content creator. You're one of us.
Am I?
No, not really.
I
not
don't
like,
think
not
so.
like Roy is. Not in the same context. He
No,
does.
not-
he does
not
do
Roy
content
level.
over on Ivy Games. What's the name of the channel?
Yeah, Ivy Games. It has been paused as we're moving into a new space. It's about to start up again.
But he's done a lot of videos, but I not the same review style thing
No.
that Roy is exposed. Roy Kennedy from the Dice Tower is exposed to a lot of games and inherently has had to teach a lot of games and deal with a lot of
Right.
games. And so while he has designed a game, I do consider him first and foremost a content creator. That is until Last Light blows up, takes over the world, and becomes the next Catan or whatever it is. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But until then, he's one of us. But I would say my experiences learning games from designers has been that way too often. When a designer's like, hey, we have a prototype, a thing of this, that, you want to hop on TTS to cover it or whatever, to learn the game? And I'm like, yes, absolutely, it'll save me time. And then I die in, like, slow pain.
We actually preemptively email back something along the lines
You can't
of...
say this out loud.
No, we can. Because here's what we do. We preemptively email back something along the lines of, hey, we've got about 15 to 30 minutes. And then we may actually have an hour, or we may actually only have 15 to 30 minutes.
Right.
Does he not understand why you can't say that out loud?
Oh, I know why you can't.
Because now, when I say to the next person I have 15 to 30 minutes, they're going to
they'll
be
be
like,
like, you have an
oh,
hour, don't you?
Oh, you have time.
No, we don't ever have time.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
true.
sometimes, if we're willing to stay and play more, we will.
The 15 to 30 minute thing, what it
I'm
does
just
for
saying,
us is it allows us to understand within 15 to 30 minutes whether we signed up to actually save ourselves some time, or whether we signed up for about an hour and a half of a slow
Because
teach that's
historically,
very messy.
it's no one's fault, and it's no one's fault going forward, but historically, we have both had issues where you hop on, and 3 hours later, you've learned the game.
Okay, so is it that they talk and try to explain the reasons they've made the decisions for the mechanics instead of just teaching you the mechanics?
It's a few things.
So it's a few things. And I have theories. I mean, this is called why are designers so bad. It's not called let's complain and whine about designers being so bad.
Yeah.
I think it's a few things. I have two theories offhand that come to mind. The first is that I think the mentality of what it takes to design a game is very fact driven, and it's not the same skill set of an explanation. It's very procedural. You're going through this thought process of how to create a game, how to design a game. You're mentally jumping through the hoops of what will challenge the experience, what will get in the way of the experience. Before you even table the game for the first time, you've started going down like this programmer's mindset of the things that will work or the things that will get in the way.
Right.
It's the root compendium, the law of root, versus the how to play.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all of the facts and the pieces of information as opposed to, great, congratulations. If you have 2.5 moves and you're on the 14th turn and this particular thing happens and this happens, I don't care. How do I play your stupid game?
for me, when I was teaching, I do a lot of playtesting. So I used to teach and like go through strategies and help talk them like this is a good idea and like, these are things we're still not sure about. And like Zach listened in on a playtest one time and he was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Don't do that.
He's like, "You just led the entire playtest in the direction that you wanted it to go." He's like, "Teach the game and stop talking." And maybe that's why there's a change? Do other designers...
They know a little bit too much about their game.
Right.
So the first point you're making is that the skill it takes to design an amazing game is different from the skill it takes to teach an amazing game.
Right.
And if you've honed one but not practiced the other, you'll find that you're bad at one or the other. We're probably not great at designing games at the moment.
I've literally said on camera that I want to design and create a game so that it can be in my Games Leaving the Collection video.
Nice. Yes.
Yes.
But
This game's not that good. It's only passable.
But the skill of teaching
4 to 5.
is vastly different. And Alex is a better teacher than me. And because Alex has practiced and studied how to teach. And that's part of the puzzle. But also there's the thing that you're pointing out. That you know and care too much,
So much.
about the product you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you get to the point in the game where you're trying to explain why a decision was made here, why graphics were put in there. In the middle of your teach, you cut off to a side tangent, talking about how in one playtest 3 games ago, someone did this twisted weird thing, and you were so impressed by that and so proud about your baby. I don't care about your baby.
Yeah.
I want to see if I will.
Yeah.
Like, maybe your baby's amazing.
Yeah.
But right now, I have no reason to be invested in the stuff that you think is super cool.
Yeah.
Also, this one's going to bug Jesse because he might not agree with me. Multiple times, I have had designers try to teach me their game with like 5 to 10 minutes of lore and backstory.
Oh, Jesse, gotta love that.
No.
No,
You
no,
don't?
No, you have mentioned in the past, and you may I don't know if you're referring to 5-10 minutes. You may be referring to like 30 seconds to 60 seconds. You have talked about how understanding the theme of the game
Yes.
can help drive it forward.
Yes.
And I won't disagree with you there. I agree with you on that.
Yep.
The 5 to 10 minute lore and backstory. So we're dealing with. So here's the game. We have a space themed game now. The ancient Aztec civilization. They've been fighting with the Mongols, but like they're going on and on and on about all these things for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, how do I politely say I don't care?
Yeah.
If
I
I
just don't
like
care. It's
your
not-
game, I want
Yes.
that eventually.
Okay, so you need
But
to know
if you're
first.
teaching me to start with, I need to know the context that I'm playing because I attach mechanics to theme
Right.
to understand them. I don't need 5 minutes of lore. I don't need anyone to read flavor text to me on TTS.
Right.
Or like encourage me to read 7 pages of a book before I decide if I want to like invest in it, right? I need the backfold. I want to flip the book over and I want a paragraph of what's happening, and
Yeah.
that's part of a good teach. That's different. It's
We just
different.
played Sidereal, Sidereal, whatever it is.
Serial conflicts.
Andrew did a great job teaching.
Andrew's a good teacher.
He did a wonderful job teaching, and it was the first 30 seconds where, hey, we're all alien races that have come together to share technology.
That's the
For
level.
Boom.
for
For
the good of humanity.
The good of humanity.
Good of
But-
humanity.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, for the good of humanity. He
oh,
repeated
they were
that like
teaching
5
us.
times.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
I'm
for
sorry.
the good
I
of
was
humanity.
focused on the game. But he did a great job teaching, but I also knew why the mechanics were set the way they were.
And then
why
the
we
back
were
of
sharing
your fold,
technology.
once you were invested
Yep.
in the game,
You could
gave
read.
you all your own
Yep.
personal stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
did
Now,
great.
another thing I do find happens, and this is actually far less of an issue compared to the other things of the mindset and all that, is, and this one's giving a lot of grace to designers. So first of all the grace in the world to designers and publishers, because it's a different skill set. I mean, you should work and develop that skill set, but I understand you don't necessarily know that. Another thing I do find to be an issue is you're working with so many versions of your game. Like and this is why I give you a ton of grace, because I play prototypes. If I play a prototype and I read the rules, and then I get the new version of the rules later, and then I have to play the final version,
Jesse's having a breakdown.
I'm already irritated by what's going on. Okay, great. Do I have 3 actions or 2? Or in the last turn, you have an extra action. Like, there's all these small tweaks and changes to the game between the different states that I'm pretty sure I'm playing it in some rough sense of the rules. I can't imagine what goes into designers going. I mean, you pulled it again the other day, and you're like, I have to double check this setup. I can't remember if we took that out as an option.
Yeah.
And like, of course you don't remember. You've
Yep.
gone through 7,000 versions of your game.
Yeah.
Why should you remember? How are you supposed to know how to teach your own game? You are the least qualified person to teach your game. Hand me the rulebook and I'll teach your
I've
game.
had 800 versions of it.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you bring that up, and it's so true. It's so hard, especially because you usually have to get the games in the hands of the content creators
Yep.
well before you're going to market, and then a lot of publishers do a lot of design work after their Kickstarter.
Yep.
That's something that we've moved up just to save on time. But even Mythic Mischief, I gave you guys Mythic Mischief, and I said, and here's the PDF of the rules that is not in the game because it isn't wrong.
You just told me,
Yeah.
as you were visiting,
Yeah.
that the prototype I've been playing with
Yeah.
I have an outdated rulebook
Yeah.
that should be discarded.
Most of it's grammatical, but the Zombies and the Witch has changed, and you've probably been playing them wrong.
I've probably been playing
Yeah.
them wrong.
The Blitz mode no longer has the option for after lunch.
Well, no, it does.
For the
Tome. You
Yeah.
cannot have a tome slot in the Legendary.
Another fascinating thing that I'm not sure that I should share, but I'm going to. I just threw a.
I don't edit.
I just threw away a prototype copy of ISS Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily because it is all trash.
Yeah.
But because I talked with Awakened Realms and they said we've done so much development work on this, we would prefer this to not be covered anymore.
And
Because
probably
it's
not let
not.
anyone
Because
touch it.
is the same game, but it's just not the same game. Because I was like, should I send it out to Table Knots or like give someone give a
Yeah,
Patreon
yeah.
a chance to play it? And they were like, honestly, it's not finished. It's changed enough that it would be bad to review that.
Right.
Yeah, so I can't imagine being a designer having to keep
terrible.
that straight. It's like it's so much information that you have to.
I
just
can't
go
get a
through
single game right on camera, let alone knowing 7 versions of a
of
game.
your own game. Yeah, it's just a mess.
It would
Yeah.
destroy me.
Oh, yeah. And publishers need to give grace to content creators, too, because not only are they learning 20 games a day, but you have also probably talked to them about several versions of your game. And so if they get a rule wrong, it's probably not their fault. And if it is, just correct them and move
No,
on.
it's probably still my fault.
I had one that still haunts me to this day. It's one of the most
tell this
embarrassing
story.
things that I have. It's
Oh my gosh.
one of the most embarrassing things, to the point that I've debated taking down the video.
Oh, man.
I haven't. I have not taken down the video. I probably should pin a comment. I should pin a comment. I'm going to go do that after this. I played. What's it called again? I'm blanking on the name. Inish Cyclades Yucatan. I played Yucatan.
Yep.
Okay, Yucatan from the Matago trilogy, quadrilogy of games, and I learned it with the designers online. Okay, that's where I first learned it, and they taught me the game, and then we played the game. Okay, and then I went back and I read the rulebook myself because I like doing that.
Yeah.
I like doing that. I went through the rulebook, I learned the rulebook, and then I proceeded to teach everyone else, and we proceeded to play it and play it and play it. And every single time I played the game wrong.
Oh, no.
The problem is, the thing that I did wrong on TTS, and I'll explain in a second, it's a small detail, but it's an impactful detail. The thing that I did wrong, I did it wrong on TTS, and they didn't notice. I was playing it wrong. I was playing it wrong after they taught me. They taught it to me correctly, I guess. It was a small little detail, and I just played it incorrectly, and they never noticed, and I proceeded to pass that incorrection on, and even though I read the rulebook after, it's such a small detail that my reading the rulebook combined with what I thought the rules were made so I missed it. And it's basically the idea that the cards you have, they don't come back into your hand ever. I thought they come back into your hand when you play this refresh card, but when you play the refresh card, you only get the refresh card back. You have one card that's a permanent card in your hand. You don't get back the rest of your hand. And while the game was still good, I still enjoyed the game, I still had a solid experience, and if anything, I wonder if it makes the game worse for me. If anything, I do wonder this. That's the main reason I haven't taken it down, because I think, we had a little internal chat about it after I found out, and I was like, we were all like, that would make the game much worse for us. We haven't played it correctly, so I can't comment. But I played the game like 5 times, I reviewed the game, and it was all based on something wrong that we played it online, and they missed it. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's hard. I've actually, not with content creators, because I would definitely correct this, but I've seen a small error that someone has done in like a playtest, and been like, and just like, you know what, I know that it's not going to have a big effect on the game, I'm just going to let them roll with it, and I feel like I should correct them from now on. Go ahead.
And not that this is irrelevant, or it's kind of irrelevant to the conversation, but for myself personally, I can't consume and learn as many games. I don't read as fast as Alex. I don't process and actually absorb things quite the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how to do that better and better. But historically, most of the games that I play and have played in my career have been either learning in collaboration with someone or being taught by someone.
Right.
And that's not unique, I don't think, to a lot of people. A lot of people have a teacher in a game group and they have a lot of learners. The problem for me is, like Kingdom Death, I played probably 200 hours of Kingdom Death, learned the game from 4 or 5 different people in different game groups before ever reading the rulebook myself.
That's funny.
And that's also a weird balance, because you'll teach to one person and they'll pass it on 7 times.
As faux positives talking about, Monopoly is a great example of that. They're like random
Sure.
like free parking rules.
Everyone
and stuff like
has
that.
their own
Everyone
thing.
plays a different way, and no one ever reads the rule book for it.
Yeah.
It's completely wrong. All right, so we got way too close to it.
Yep, different
Skill set.
Yeah.
I have one more.
What is the other ones? What do
They
you got?
care too much.
They care too much.
Too much lore.
Too many versions of the rules.
And too many versions
Too many versions
of
of
the
the
lore.
rules. All right.
And I have one more, which is, this is more related to publishers, not designers. I have had it happen far too often where the point person for a publisher who's teaching the game either clearly has not played it or has not played it enough. I have had this happen multiple times where the person's giving a guided walkthrough, like, oh, here's this game, let's talk about it, let's play it, they teach the game, and then I ask like a basic question, and they're like, oh, I don't know, let's check the rulebook, and I'm like, have you played the game? Like, I don't know what's happening here. Like, I mean, why did you just have someone teach me the game who either hasn't played it or doesn't know it that well? And it's hard to say for sure, because, and this is why I would never list names here, because, like, it's not even necessarily a degree of 100% confidence, but there's a degree of cluelessness someone on the other end of a question has that I'm like, maybe you've played the game 15 times, but you seem like you don't know what's going on past the high-level bullet points. And that I give no grace to.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna put me on the other side of a conversation with somebody who's supposed to be the designated point person to teach me the game,
Right.
they should in some way know the game. Otherwise, just give me the rulebook and call it a day.
So, all that said, Alex,
Yes.
at the end of this conversation, what is the correct step forward?
That
I don't want to leave it on a complaining.
Sure, you
but
don't
it's
tell
like,
the entire audience that your go-to escape move is I have 15 to 30 minutes. That's the.
I say that to everyone now.
I know. You don't tell everyone that.
Why?
Because that's the next step forward.
Oh.
What isn't that? So realistically,
You mean that's our solution?
that was our solution?
Yeah, we figured it out.
We told everyone.
Yeah, you should do that.
No, realistically, I don't have a lot of next steps forward. I think that if you're a designer, I'm not going to say that your job is to go out and suddenly learn to be better at teaching games.
Yeah.
I would say the problem is, in order to know you're bad at games, you have to know, someone has to tell you. And I've never told anyone they're bad at games. I've never said, hey, by the way, you're terrible at teaching your own game. I've never said that to me.
You've told me that before.
Well, if you're not a designer.
Oh.
Yeah,
You
I'm not
mean
going to tell
designers.
designers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell them that.
Sure.
What's the upside? Hey, the
Well, we
conversation's
kind of
wasting-
are now. We're sort of telling them all it.
No, because here's the thing. At least 10%,
We said he was the exception.
No, at least 10% of designers and publishers who teach me games do a great job. And if you're listening to this,
You're the 10%.
You're the 10%.
Yeah, just saying. But no, in all seriousness,
It
Austin
is a
one of
bigger
multiple
problem
exceptions.
than it is. There are exceptions, but it
Yeah.
has been a bigger problem than it has been a exception.
Oh, I have one more. I have one more thing. And we'll wrap this up, though, because I think we're going to move from there. But one more, and this one happens a lot, and this one I think I need to figure out a way to just communicate to people. I think people who teach games are teaching to a wide variety of people who pick things up at different speeds. And I think by default, they go to the stupidest wrong word. The slowest. I think they by default treat the teacher, meaning good teachers even who are doing a good job. They're like, what's the lowest common denominator I've taught the game
It's
to?
called No Child Left Behind.
And teach them like slowly.
Right.
There are people I've had to say like, can you please like just go rapidly through this? I'm picking it up. I got this.
I've already guessed the next 4 rules based on that.
Sure.
And they're like going really slowly. They're being super clear. So like, and when you take this move, so again, you have 3 actions. Okay, we got three
You got
actions.
three actions.
3 actions. Now the 3 actions
On
you
your
can
turn.
take on your turn. The 3 actions we
Three
can take.
actions.
The first one is that you can draw a card. So the first of the 3 actions that we can take is you can draw a card. This literally happens to me. It's happened to me. It's not the most common. It does happen. I need to figure out a polite way of saying, can you please ramp it forward, because I can read a whole lot faster than that.
So, I think there's a great video by Shut Up and Sit Down on how to teach a game.
It's amazing.
I think every
Their best
publisher
video they've ever done.
I think every content creator, every publisher, every teacher, anyone that's going to be interacting with the game should go watch that video and then study, practice, script, whatever you need to do to learn how to teach your title. Because for family and friends, it'll help people get into your game group. For publishers, it'll help content creators be willing to work with you and cover your title. And playtesters find things that, like, other than just rules mistakes, find things that make your game fun or not fun. And then for content creators, it's how we communicate and share, both between the publishers and the audience that we have. So, like, it's such a core part of this hobby that I don't think people maybe focus on enough. Which is why Shut Up and Sit Down's video was so valuable.
It's their video is so good. It's the only video ever from anything video I've ever wanted to do that I haven't done yet, because I have such an intimidating aspect of it's not going to be as good as their video. Like, their video is so on point. What can I say that they haven't said?
It's literally that and Crokinole are the only 2 things I agree with them on.
But yeah, I think the next step is possibly be a little bit more communicative to people. Tell them, hey, I don't have a good next step. Without being rude to somebody.
Watch that video.
Watch the video. Watch this video, and then pretend you're part of the 90%. That might be the next step.
Airport.
Airport.